Chelsea 4-3 Manchester United. Cole Palmer scored twice in the final moments of stoppage time as his winning strike and hat-trick goal down the Red Devils. Cole Palmer continues to be Chelsea's go-to man as he scored twice in stoppage time to seal a 4-3 victory over Manchester United with the latest winning goal in Premier League history. GAWANG PATAH has summarized for you. Manchester City 4-1 Aston Villa. England star Phil Foden struck a superb hat-trick as Pep Guardiola was afforded the luxury of resting Erling Haaland with no need to call upon his striking talisman. GAWANG PATAH has summarized for you. Sublime Phil Foden hat-trick energizes Man City's title bid and ends England debate. Manchester City 4-1 Aston Villa. England star Phil Foden struck a superb hat-trick as Pep Guardiola was afforded the luxury of resting Erling Haaland with no need to call upon his striking talisman. No Erling Haaland. No problem for Manchester City, particularly when you have Phil Foden. With Haaland rested on the bench, England midfielder Foden stepped up to score his second hat-trick of the season and take his tally for the campaign to a career-best 21. And to think there was even a debate over whether Foden would be an automatic starter for England at Euro 2024 this summer. The 23-year-old was simply unplayable here, his goals keeping City on course for an historic fourth straight league title with win that showed their intent to push all the way. Just 24 hours after Haaland as the best striker in the world, in response to Roy Keane's criticism of the City forward, Guardiola sprung a surprise by naming him among his subs. Kevin De Bruyne was also on the bench as Guardiola made 4 changes to the side held to a 0-0 draw with Premier League title rivals Arsenal at the weekend. Villa boss Unai Emery was forced into a change of goalkeeper, with Emiliano Martinez taken unwell during the warm-up, meaning Robin Olsen was brought into the starting lineup. City's last defeat came at Villa in December, Guardiola describing the 1-0 loss as their worst display of the season, to which they responded by going on a 24-game unbeaten run. Fourth-placed Villa arrived at the Etihad on a run of 5 away games unbeaten in the league and looking to endorse their push for a Champions League spot, but City were in ruthless mood after Sunday's stalemate. Predictably, Jack Grealish had his every touch booed by the travelling Villa fans, who have not forgiven him for leaving them to join City in a £100 million deal back in the summer of 2021. Grealish set up the first chance after 2 minutes, threading the ball through to Julian Alvarez, who hit the side netting with his angled effort. City's early pressure was turned into the hard currency of a goal after 11 minutes, Phil Foden finding Jeremy Doku, whose cross was converted by Rodri, the strike standing after a VR check for a potential offside. That should have been the platform for City to build a lead and put the game beyond Villa, but the visitors were level in the 20th minute with a superb goal on the break. After the breakdown of a City attack, Villa worked the ball up the pitch, Jan Duran scoring with a clinical angled finish after exchanging passes with Morgan Rogers. The goal bred agitation among the City fans, which spread to the pitch, chiefly with Grealish, who was booked for dissent after initially escaping a caution for a cynical foul on Douglas Luiz. Olsen produced a fine save with his outstretched right leg to deny Alvarez in the 36th minute, as City put Villa under relentless pressure in search of a goal to restore their lead. They did so in the first minute of added time, Foden winning and then converting a free kick through the Villa wall and beyond the static Olsen. City should have gone 3-1 ahead 3 minutes after the restart, but Olsen blocked a goal-bound effort from Bernardo Silva with his chest. Stefan Ortega produced vital back-to-back saves, first from Douglas Luiz, then from Duran, to preserve City's slender lead. Foden gave City the breathing space they needed in the 61st minute with a sublime first-time finish, then sealed his hat-trick with an even better strike 8 minutes later, the match winner earning a standing ovation when he came off with 10 minutes to go. Cole Palmer's late Chelsea hat-trick seals stoppage time win over Man Utd. 5 talking points. Chelsea 4-3 Manchester United. Palmer scored twice in the final moments of stoppage time as his winning strike and hat-trick goal down the Red Devils. Cole Palmer continues to be Chelsea's go-to man as he scored twice in stoppage time to seal a 4-3 victory over Manchester United with the latest winning goal in Premier League history. Chelsea looked to have squandered a 2-0 lead when Alejandro Garnacho scored on 65 minutes to put the Red Devils 3-2 up. Palmer, though, came up with his first career hat-trick, scoring a deflected winner as the clock ticked over to 100 minutes. Seconds earlier, he'd bagged an equalizer from the spot. Garnacho thought he'd produced another big moment as his second-half header sealed a sensational United comeback, only for Palmer to take center stage. Conor Gallagher got a frantic first half underway when he hammered home early on. Antony then tripped Marc Cucurella to present Palmer with a chance to double the host's lead. The playmaker has been prolific from the spot and was on cue to make it 2-0. 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes turned the contest, though, and lit the United flame. Moises Caicedo's slack pass presented Garnacho with a chance to land a lifeline, and he finished smartly. Bruno Fernandes' well-timed run then allowed him to get onto the end of a cross and head past Đorđe Petrovic to level the game. United's lack of draws this term, the least of any team in the league, meant a 5th goal was on the cards either way. It came courtesy of the young Argentine, who continues to grow in stature, as he converted a stunning Antony cross to put United in front of the traveling fans. It looked to be the winner until, in the 7th minute of added time, Chelsea were gifted a second penalty of the evening. Palmer hammered home late on to thwart Manchester City in West London, and he did so against United to rescue a point. He wasn't done there, though, as his strike deflected off Scott McTominay to send Stamford Bridge into raptures. Here's the lowdown from West London. 1. A stoppage time story. The mood in West London going into stoppage time, and at the end, could not have had a greater contrast. Chelsea's poor season looked to have sunk to a new low as they let a comfortable lead slip, with United closing in on another memorable comeback. Pressure would have ramped up further on Mauricio Pochettino, and Palmer's equalizing penalty looked to have kept the doubters quiet for at least a few days. His hat-trick goal, though, capped an incredible few moments, with the character of the side earning some rare plaudits. 2. A sign of the times. Once upon a time, we'd be talking about the ramifications of this contest impacting the title race. Instead, Chelsea knew that 3 points would lift them into the top half, whilst United needed the win to keep alive their hopes of landing 5th spot and Champions League qualification. It is proof of how both sides have fallen, Chelsea more so than their opponents. Pochettino's side continue to show shoots of promise, only to be dealt reality checks on a regular basis. United, meanwhile, blow hot and cold, as they proved in the first half alone. 3. Palmer hits back at United fans. He's a Manchester City product, and those in the away end at Stamford Bridge wanted to remind the playmaker that he had to leave the Etihad to further his career. He was called a City reject as he wandered over to take a corner, but quietened the fans in the best possible way. Palmer, who was the standout individual throughout the contest, coolly slotted a first-half penalty to make it 2-0 and gestured to the United fans with their chants doing little to influence the Chelsea star. He had the last laugh as the clock ticked into the 99th minutes as he scored a second penalty of the evening to level late on. 4. Gallagher furthers his case. He's an academy graduate, he's a regular in midfield, and he's the club captain. Yet Gallagher's future in West London is far from secure, with clubs circling as his contract winds down. There seems to have been no productive conversations between the player and the hierarchy. Some may speculate that Gallagher, alongside 2 £100 million midfielders, is not a fashionable name. Chelsea's owners have shown themselves to get few of their footballing decisions right, and few would be surprised to see Gallagher moved on. Yet, despite the outside noise, the man donning the armband continues to battle on, scoring the opener early on to get the night off in the best possible way. 5. Rashford dropped. It has been a year to forget, and, after another underwhelming display at Brentford, Rashford was resigned to a spot on the bench at Stamford Bridge. Antony was bought in to replace him, with Ten Hag citing rotation as the reason to leave out the forward. Rotation. That's all whilst remembering Bruno Fernandes has started 29 league games this season. Tweaking his lineup was perhaps a convenient reason for leaving Rashford out, as he continues to struggle for goals and overall impact. He was introduced as a second-half sub,